So, one of the questions that I was asked yesterday on the YouTube channel is, do you have the same contracting crew for each of your projects? Every contractor I call seems to be weeks out before they can even consider me. How do you find your contractors? I think this is a really good point. And I think as you're first starting out, this is probably going to be one of the most difficult things that you're going to have to deal with or have to navigate as you're just getting your first couple of properties. One really good friend of mine has about 15 properties, and he still has an extraordinarily difficult time finding contractors that are able to help him on a quick time frame. So, fortunately and unfortunately, this is one of those issues that kind of dissolve or go away with scale. So, if you are looking for, one job to be completed while it is still work and while it is still probably going to pay well, it isn't necessarily enough for a contractor to kind of redo their entire schedule for. However, the more properties you get and the more full you can keep one contractor's schedule, the more they are willing to move things around for you and fit you in. Otherwise, if you're not able to keep someone fairly busy, then what generally happens is contractors are several weeks out, and if they take on your job, they might work on it as they have time and as they fit it into their schedule rather than dedicating their entire day to it, which is really unfortunate and it's really difficult. And I think, thinking back to when we first got started, the number of times that we were stood up by contractors where, I waited on properties for 2, 3 hours, just hoping that the contractor that said that they would meet me would actually show up to meet me there. And it is a really painful experience. And I don't have any good tips or suggestions in order to not have this issue. However, I will say that all of the real estate investors that I have ever met have had this problem. And it's kind of like earning your stripes in the industry, I suppose. It's one of those things that if you keep looking for contractors and you keep vetting them well, then at some point you're going to find someone that has the opening in their schedule that is willing to take you on. And it is in your best interest to form a relationship with that person. Now, I would not at any point become desperate and just hire, anyone that says that they have the ability to do the job. I think you could find yourself in a lot of trouble really quickly. And, as much diligence as you can do, also rest assured that several people, including myself, have lost a significant amount of money to contractors that said that they would do something and never actually did that thing. It's a really bad way to do business. It's not sustainable, but it happens, I think, to most of the real estate investors that I know. So any struggle, any complaint that you have in this area is probably very well justified. And as much peace as you can possibly have, knowing that you are not alone, you should have that. It is something that you will have indefinitely until you reach a size where you can keep a person busy. Then you're still going to have that issue, but it's just going to be a different one. Is that person, charging you the appropriate rate? They getting a little bit too comfortable knowing you will pay. Now, I think we have about 20 to 25 open projects. So to answer the first part of your question, no, we do not use the same contractor for all of these projects. We have about 8 crews that we rely on pretty heavily. And this past week, I believe that we have added another 2 crews. So hopefully they turn out well. Fingers crossed. Like I said, this is, if you are in the real estate investing space, you will always have at least 2 people problems. And one of those is issues with contractors. That'll be a very difficult people problem that you have to regularly solve. And then the second are the residents. That will also be a very difficult people problem that you will need to solve. So good luck. Part of the journey. Contractors, you're going to find some really solid ones as you do this. And then you're going to find some people that as soon as that contract or as soon as that scope of work is completed, you will never speak to them again. And it's all part of the journey. Same with residents. You're going to put somebody in there that you have high hopes for, and they are going to destroy the property in a very short amount of time. So we recently rehabbed a property, very, very, very beautiful house. It was built in 1885. It's a brick 2-story house, a little over 2,000 square feet. Fantastic woodwork all throughout the home. I contemplated moving into it. I contemplated using it as our office, and ultimately we used it as a rental. And the people that applied and the people that we moved in, we had very high hopes for them. Swiftly, inside of 3 months, that place is full of trash, and the worst kind of trash. Not like papers, old newspapers, but like pizza boxes, Taco Bell wrappers, those kind of things. Takes a long time. Well, actually, in this case, it didn't. They did it very quickly. And if I were you, for this, every contractor I call seems to be weeks out before they can even consider me. Get on their schedule. Just go ahead and get on their schedule. And in the meantime, continue reaching out for contractors. So, oftentimes, when I found myself in this situation, I would get on the schedule for 3 or 4 contractors. Because if you find another contractor in the meantime, then there's no harm in calling them and letting them know that you found somebody else that had immediate availability. Worst case scenario, if you don't find another one, then at least you're on, a couple of other contractor schedules for whenever they get cleared up. But yeah, definitely take them up on coming to see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for watching that clip. I thought that was a good question. And I think you can ask good questions too. Join us every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a live stream Q&A where we answer plenty of questions just like this one. In the meantime, consider subscribing to the channel if you want more of this content. And if you want to increase your deal flow, analyze properties better, and help me feed my family, click the link below for a free 7-day trial of PropStream.